Greetings! This is Septum Sen versus the World. This is our first foray into video blogging. I've had a regular blog for a while now. It can also be located at the link below. And today I'm going to actually address a topic that I've been wanting to address for a while, but instead of doing it in written form, I've decided, hey, let's do this thing in actual video form. Maybe I can actually join the YouTubes, sort of like going from, video to DVD quality type entertainment. So now you guys get to see my ugly face throughout this. So let's talk about anime in America. Anime has been in America for a very long time. It's actually been here pretty much since the beginning of anime in Japan, which happened around the 1960s. Astro Boy being one of the major players in that original field. If you grew up in any time after the 1970s, you most likely have seen an anime show in your childhood, and you might not even know it. Shows like Voltron or Nickelodeon. The one that surprised me was Maya the Bee, which was when I was a little bit old for it at the time it came out, but I found out that itself is also an anime. Some of the shows I watched on that channel were actually anime or other country animated shows. So today though we're talking about anime movies and what actually had it progress from being something that is on the outside, being considered as only kids stuff, towards being something that's actually taken seriously by the American community. Films like Your Name, those films would not have come to theaters if it hadn't been for these types of forebearers into the practice. So this is going to be addressing 3 categories and 4 films. So the first category I'm going to talk about is more the violent stuff. This is the early introduction to anime that said, hey, I am anime. I am not American animation. I am not kid stuff. For that, many companies decided we're going to try and publish this violent stuff that for the most part actually did not make it to the United States prior. This stuff differentiated itself. This stuff was actually very different from what you could get from American cartoons at that time. This was the 80s and 90s we're talking about right here. Cartoon Express. It was even a little bit too early for the Nicktoons. This was a little bit before The Simpsons even. So one of those types that I want to talk about is one that really defined that genre, and that is Ninja Scroll. Ninja Scroll was about a ninja named Jubei who was dragged into a battle with the Devils of Kimon, which was a group of monsters that all had special powers. He had to go through, kill the monsters, and then defeat their leader to foil his whatever plan that was. The plot was not really there. Really and truly, Ninja Scroll was about sex, violence, sex, and even more violence. That was pretty much what you got out of Ninja Scroll. What was defining about Ninja Scroll is that this was very well produced sex and violence, and it was unlike anything that many of us had actually ever seen before, especially in animation. For many of us, seeing this for the first time, it was like, wow, this was a shock. This is stuff that you would not see in anything but live action. And if you saw it in live action, it would have gotten an R rating or even the evil X rating that you would actually see in occasional films at those times. So Ninja Scroll actually was one of those things that really brought that niche together. I would like to say that Ninja Scroll, for my pick, is one of those defining films at that time. It got us a foothold that allowed us to actually introduce the genre to new points, to bring it to new heights. So these next 2 films are part of a genre that really brought anime into the theaters. This is what actually helped Americans take anime seriously for the first time. It wasn't just some niche that you could do, like saying, I'm going to watch violent cartoons for the first time, or some sort of thing like, it's another Disney cartoon. This actually showed that anime could be something of quality, that this could be something equal, on par with those big blockbuster films, like the Star Wars films, like the Indiana Jones films. This was anime. This still kind of rooted anime into the sci-fi fantasy movie genre, but showed that it could pull that genre to new heights. The first of these two films is Akira. Now, Akira is very complex. The story is a little bit convoluted, and the ending is something that you would probably not want to have a full stomach to watch. But all in all, Akira was a beautiful piece to behold. The animation style, the music, it was a masterpiece in many, many ways. This helped redefine what people thought of the genre. This brought people into theaters. This had people watching anime that did not watch anime before. This actually helped change a lot of people's minds on the genre and helped introduce it into the theaters. So I said there are two in this category. And one of them, of course, was recently made into a live-action film, and that is Ghost in the Shell. Now, Ghost in the Shell is, again, the same basic flaws that you see in Akira. The story is a little bit overly complex, goes over a lot of people's heads, and instead of being disgusting at the end, it ends kind of abruptly. But also like Akira, the visual style, the music, the art direction, this particular genre showed perfection in so many ways when it came to bringing visual quality to life. Many sci-fi movies at the time would be considered below Ghost in the Shell, in my opinion. This series, of course, well, it is a series now. This movie, of course, then spawned more movies, spawned a couple TV series, and, of course, some more recent movies and series. So this is one particular defining film. Whereas Akira put a foothold into the theater, this one actually showed that, yes, we can make some money off of theatrical productions. So together, these films showed that the theater could be a place where anime could be displayed, and not just children's anime. So, I said that there were 3 different types that we were going to go over. So we've gone over 2. So the third. The third is the final step that would bring us high quality films like Your Name in theaters. Because up until that time, critics still did not consider anime actually seriously. They were still either kids' cartoons or something that is this niche sci-fi stuff that, again, the Academy never really took seriously until they heard of a man named Miyazaki. The Animation Award was still not that old. I mean, it just took place in the 90s, I believe. I don't remember when Beauty and the Beast was around, but that was what they brought it in for. This particular award was mainly made for Disney films. I don't think they even considered Japanese animation when they were looking into this. But Miyazaki changed their minds. Of course, the film that won the award was Spirited Away, but that was not the film that actually made them change their minds. What paved the way for films like Spirited Away was a film called Princess Mononoke. Miyazaki has made some beautiful pictures, all of them of high quality, great sound. But the difference between these types of films and the ones in previous is that the story, the art direction, the plot lines, the character backgrounds, all of it actually clicked in a way that, well, that made critics swoon over this particular type. Princess Mononoke, in particular, was one of Miyazaki's best works at the time. this had a message that transcended the Japanese the cultural themes and actually managed to make it to the rest of the world. So I consider Princess Mononoke to be the real forebearer of theatrical anime that is taken seriously by the art community. You would not have movies like Your Name in theaters without Princess Mononoke. Of course, at the same time, you would not have Princess Mononoke in theaters without Akira and Ghost in the Shell, which I've got upside down. There you go. Akira and Ghost in the Shell. And of course, finally, you would not have that audience without films like Ninja Scroll. So, in the end, these four, in my opinion, are some of the films that really helped it come together, that brought us anime into the mainstream. And we have those films to thank for doing that sort of work. Now, I love anime as a genre. I love anime as a medium for any type. I have a large collection, and I try to help people get into this because it is a medium much like live action. It's a medium that's easier to produce for that country. So having it taken seriously in the United States is a very important thing for many of us who actually are physical media collectors. I'm hoping to see a lot more in the future, a lot more developments. Your Name is actually an important one in that genre style because it made a large amount of money when it was released. But at the same time, I don't have it, and this channel is about physical media. It's about media that I can actually put my hands on, that you, as an audience, can put your hands on. I'll even include some links below so that you can actually get your hands on at least one or two versions of these titles. So, in the end, if you can, just please click like, please click subscribe. When I get to 10 or more subscribes, I will do a collection tour so that you can actually see my collection. It's relatively massive, and I bid you a good day. Thank you.